Hello everyone, my name is 𝐒𝐩𝐨𝐬 and we are here with
D.W. McCann. Hi everybody.
Absolutely, and tonight we are excited to present the first in a series of exploring the tales for the heroes, who will be in Season 2. So why don't you please go ahead and tell us about your character.
I will be playing Tinkus, who is a Warforged, and he is of the Artificer class, went with Artillerist, and really, in all honesty, where his heart is he's a toy maker. And has even, to kind of represent the personality he puts forward, which is a old grumpy gnome, is he has a beard. And that gnome is the one who taught him how to make toys, and he emulates his teacher.
I think that is beautiful because, excuse me, when I clear my throat, we're gonna start off your wonderful Tale of Tinkus on a very related note.
Okay.
So, without further ado, the sound of a child's laughter. It's the greatest sound in the world. It's impossible to really tell when the last time you even can remember hearing it was. Just this effortless giggle, the simple squeal. But maybe you know all too well when the last time was. This tiny village in the center of Edelfall isn't as nearly equipped as before, but it seems to have done the trick for now. You're inside your shop in the front-facing part where the toys are on display and there's enough room where people can try out the merchandise, if you will. And there is a small group of children with their parents. The kids are running around, swinging their arms, holding their finest craftsmanship. The parents look on with pride and joy, the way any parent does when their child is just being happy and genuinely themselves and lost in the moment. The moment that a child will never remember, but the parents will never forget. In this moment, watching simple play, tell me the tale. What toys are they playing with? What did you build for them?
Well, it's clear that the one over there has picked up one of my beautiful dragon dolls that I carved from wood and has leather wings. So the extension actually pulls out completely from the body and creates almost a gliding capability. The body's a little too heavy, I'm working on that. The other one has found a lovely little kraken that I made for the children when they're in their tub, and it has all of these flopping around bits that entertain the child so it doesn't try and squirm too much while the parents are trying to give them a bath.
That's absolutely lovely. And the squealing and the laughter is just, it's filling the whole room like a chorus. You have a human child, a half-elf, and a dwarf, and they're in that simplest of exchanges. There is no difference, there's only play. As it continues, you see one of the kids with the dragon kind of runs up to you and starts pulling on your apron with the dragon in his hand. Excuse me, Tinkus? Excuse me, Mr. Tinkus? Excuse me, Mr. Tinkus? Excuse me?
Yes, how can I help you?
I have something I want to ask you. And he gestures for you to lean down to him.
Instead of leaning down, the legs give out and the whole body just kind of drops down to his level.
This kid just kind of, and he leans up right against your skin, puts his hand there like he's trying to whisper something, and you can feel that hot child breath. When they have a secret, they have to tell you. And he goes, I really like the dragon. I like it a lot, and I was wondering if I could get 2 more, and one could be red. I would like that a lot.
Give me a week.
Is that like tomorrow?
It's a few tomorrows, but it'll happen.
How many tomorrows is a week?
7.
That's a lot. Okay, bye-bye.
You might need both hands to count.
I don't want to put down my dragon. Bye-bye. And he runs away, flying the dragon in the air, pretending to attack the kraken, which is on the ground, and both the kids are playing with it. The parents are laughing, of course, at this. At some point, one of the mothers called her children over, and they whisper to the kid, and he turns around, now shy as kids are when they're being told to be an adult. They kind of grab a hold of the hem of her skirt and say, Thank you, Mr. Tinkus. I really like the toy.
The legs re-engage and I go back up to full height, and I wave.
Okay, bye-bye. And the human and the dragon and the parents leaving the kids playing with the Kraken. There is a sort of unfortunate accident, as happens when kids are at play, and the Kraken breaks. And, of course, the half-elf and the dwarf are in tears as kids, just, oh, we broke your toy. Oh, we're so sorry, we broke it.
Bring it here.
Okay.
I take it over to the table. Literally, one of my hands starts converting itself into a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I start working on it, taking out the broken piece, pull open a drawer where I have 5 similar pieces, and start putting in the new piece.
Now, I'm curious, where is your work table? Would it be in the same place for the display and the play section, or is it kind of in the back somewhere else?
It's around the corner from where the play area is, the display area is. Okay. But it's still visible because if this is a temporary shop I've set up, then there's only so much I can keep an eye on. So being able to work on something while being able to watch the store is important.
Okay, so you say where you're at, you can get a clear view of the display room, or is it kind of, okay. Give me an insight check.
All right. That is a 21.
Okay.
I'll take a 19 for my first roll this game.
That's a very good first roll. Absolutely. While you're in your workshop and you kind of have an overwatch on the front, the energy becomes extremely quiet. Not the energy of a parent scolding a child, as may be the case in your experience. No, they get really quiet. And then before you can come out, there's a fear, and then they leave.
And I'm holding the Kraken. There'd be a moment pause, and kind of the gears would kick back in. Walk it over, put it back on the display. Is the dragon on the ground?
The dragon is on the ground.
Same way I dropped down before, literally legs just buckle down on the ground, grab the dragon, back up, go over, set it on the thing, go back behind my counter.
As you get back behind the counter, it's at this point in time that you see the front door to your shop seems barred open, and a dark figure stands in the doorway, not entering your shop just yet. The frame is very broad, very stout, a sort of tall stovepipe-style hat with very wide brim, black leather curled duster with the curls kind of blocking the view of the face, leather gauntlets and heavy leather boots to match, stands ominously in the doorframe, just hard to tell from here. Looking around?
I recognize the frame of a stout folk.
You do indeed.
There's again another momentary pause, a tilt of the head. Come in, you may look around.
The head kind of turns sharply, almost as if finally isolating. Thank you, not for nothing. I don't want to be rude when I walk into a place of business.
Rude?
The leather gauntlet hand grabs the hat, pulls it off. You see a dwarf with kind of rusty red and brown hair, a few scars over his face, long beard, twisted to a simple knot. Yeah, the wind blew me in here. I'm looking around. I don't want to be rude and just start kicking down doors in places I ain't never been before, you know. The world's a crazy place. No reason I gotta be crazier.
I understand that, I guess. But the door is open. You need not kick it in.
Figure of speech, but I see where your head's at, absolutely. Do you mind if I put my hat down on your desk here, on your table?
By all means.
Oh, thank you.
Taking a moment to look at the hat and see if there's anything interesting about it, anything.
Give me an Arcana check, or something else you feel would be craft-related.
Ooh, not even. I spent all my points on that 19. No, my Arcana would be a 9.
9.
And that's with a +6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you look at it. It's definitely a dwarven make hat for sure. Nothing noticeable. There's a bunch of like little knickknacks and gimmicks to it, but nothing that stands out to you as important.
I think with that roll, based on that, I'm going to be still studying the hat. If he says anything, there will be a startled moment of back, but I'm still kind of puzzled by this hat.
This dwarf kind of like, you can hear the gripping of his fingers biting the leather and stretching the stitch as he kind of extends his fingers and brings them together. And he says, I don't want to be rude. I was up in northern Adethal. I got these notes, these orders, and I had to start walking. So walking papers, you go walking. And here I am. I couldn't help but notice from your lovely display.
Yes.
Well, you seem to be very good at making dwarven toys.
I was trained, yes.
Yeah. You were trained. I would imagine you have to be. I mean, of course, it's silly. No toy smith just picks this up out of the blue, right?
Even programming I wouldn't think would suffice.
No. Where'd you say you were from again? I don't know if I got that information.
Oh, here and there. I don't remember my first years, so I don't know entirely where from.
Memory. Memory's such a catch, isn't it? Right. 1 minute, everything makes sense. And it can be so fast. Like that. And all those thoughts, all that idea, right, is gone, yeah? Makes you wonder, when you lose those minutes, do you lose a part of yourself?
I don't know that I'd be able to answer because I wouldn't know it's gone.
I suppose you're right. Yeah, these are really nice toys. He looks around the place, hand just kind of like hovering over all of them.
Thank you.
This Kraken one looks really good. I have to ask, because when I grew up, I had a Kraken toy like this, deep underground, right? When I was a young little boy. But the articulation of the limbs, it always got stiff.
I used some of my own articulation designs to adapt them and make them more lifelike. That is my own work.
No one else's work but yours?
I can't speak for everyone. Someone else may come to the same design. I mean, there are only so many designs to be had, mechanically speaking. For all I know, there could be more like me that have been trained in this way. I only know of my own training.
That's fair. Now, who would you say trained you? Because like I said, I know dwarven make, and this is really good dwarven make.
I was trained by a very wise artisan, but I don't know if I would be speaking out of turn, as I did not complete my training, and I do not know if he is proud of my work.
I'm so sorry. Here I come in, kicking down your door, asking you a bunch of questions. I'm being very rude. I understand. Hey, look, listen, I've made some bungle decisions before. Oh my gosh, when you're in my position, every decision you make has so much weight. You know what I mean?
No.
You do, well, okay. But I guess in the same way, you both craft something. An experience, a memory, a part of who we really are.
What do you craft?
I craft law. I craft justice. I mean, sort of. I'm an investigator, if I'm being honest. I was out way north of Adethal. I got these papers about a missing person. Happens all the time. Jeez, especially if you go south of here too far, you end up in the bandit lands, right where all the trees are. Ain't no town in sight. Crap, you sneeze hard, someone puts you in a headlock, no one sees you again. Or you fall off a grassy knoll. You fall off back and to the left. Just like that. Gone. So, I figured, I don't know, I gotta find this, what do my papers say? What's the name? Have you heard about, someone missing at any point in time?
Several people have gone missing in my time. My time is limited. It has only been so many years since I remember being turned on. But, I don't know if anyone's specific.
What was the paper said his name was? This guy went missing. What was I want to say his name was Colonel Crumb. And he just kind of starts...
anyone by that name.
You see him start walking around, just kind of saying these names out loud, just kind of like letting it breathe, trying to make sense of the words. Kern doesn't ring a bell at all?
No, I do not have bells. It is a popular thought that there are bells in us, but I do not have any bells that I know of.
What do you know about yourself? I know it's a deep question to ask. I just met you. I'm sorry, but what do you know about you?
I know me. The experience I've had, the life I've lived, if one can call it life, and the life I continue to try to live.
That's all we can all hope, right? I hope you don't mind while I'm here. Do you mind if I walk around just kind of... I've been topside for so long, and let me tell you, I hate being topside. The sky's too damn big. I feel like I'm gonna fall into an abyss right above me.
I do remember, I think it was my first time seeing the sky. It was very broad. I learned a lot by just standing there for I think an hour had passed, just looking at all the things up instead of rock. Yes.
You wanna know a secret I heard? When that happens, you start to get what we call sky sick. You know, as a trick that helps with that. You put rocks in your boots.
I don't have boots, nor do I get sick, but I appreciate the idea. I may share that with others who may have a similar situation.
Ergo, it's dwarven culture. We all work together. I'm helping you, you're helping me. This is terrific. It just feels good to be back around my home. I've been up with these, like I said, topsiders. I'm just gonna take a moment just to kind of enjoy your crafts, if that's okay.
By all means.
Yeah, he walks up, leather glove, puts the hat back on, and he kind of proceeds to peruse everything on display for a while.
I go and start working on a toy.
But you can still see him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There is going to be those moments of literally like... Matter of fact, no, I'm not going to create anything. I'm just going to work on a toy.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what toys are on display in this part of the room? This part of the store, I should say.
The part of the store he's in, let's say that is boats and things that have been designed to float, both from wood, from leather. There is one metal barge that was clearly designed after a specific type of barge. It seems almost less toy and almost more display-like, but it does have a little sign under it says, yes, this will float.
So you're working on a toy. He is really just seems to be perusing these things, really intricately kind of going over them. You can kind of hear a heavy nose breathing as he's just kind of taking in the piece of this room. And then he stops dead in his tracks. Picks up something in his hands. Looks at it. Looks at you. Slowly walks over you. It's amazing how light his step is for such a heavy boot. And then in a heartbeat, his hand rises up into your face.
I don't even flinch.
Can
I help you?
Oh, is this boat here? He's on the back here. This boat floats.
Is this the metal one?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It took a lot of time to get the right design to displace the water, because whereas the metalwork and the woodwork and the leatherwork, those are my skill, but the math behind it is not mine. I had to get a consultant, and we worked together and found this. It's a gentleman in town, as a matter of fact, and I cite a building over way where I met that gentleman.
He looks, he goes, you know, I am so glad you said that. I was about to ask who this guy was, because I want to know who else makes my culture, makes our home my home. You said you were below the ground for a while. I'm sure it was home for you. Well, all right. You know what? I think I need to go see what this guy has to offer. See what he can tell me about this boat.
Oh, he is not from underground, as you were saying. He is an elf.
Oh, an elf!
But he did have a lot of good ideas, and I found it very useful to talk to him.
Oh, I love talking to elves. You know what? I'm gonna go talk to this guy. You have a good day. What did you say the name was again?
Tinkus.
Tinkus. That is such a good name. I feel like it's ringing in my ears, you know?
The hand is still out, like, waiting for the shake.
He looks at your hand, looks at you. I'm sorry, where are my manners? Grabs you by the hand, shakes. Tinkus. Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
He turns around, slowly walks away, and he kind of stops in the doorframe for a bit, takes off his hat one more time, kind of massages and itches his head a bit, puts the hat back on. I'm going to be investigating this missing person, this Kern, for quite a while. I would really love to run into you again with more questions. You seem very intelligent and able to help my investigation. Can I trust you to be here, maybe in a week or so, with more questions?
If the toys sell well, I am in town. Otherwise, I do find myself on an adventure to make the money to help fund the building, but and get materials, and likewise. I don't have any trips planned, though. I don't know how toys can help you in your investigation, but if you find them helpful, so be it.
All right, then. Until we see each other again, Tinkus.
And
Pleasure.
your name?
Sorry. Maybe next time. And he vanishes.
Maybe next time.
I can't give you inspiration points just yet. Stop being so funny. I can't do that right now.
Hey, I was having trouble not laughing at the grassy knoll bit.
I'm so glad you picked up on that.
I picked up on it, and I specifically held my face for it to end the scene.
I'm so glad you grabbed I'm like, I don't know if anyone's gonna get this horrible reference. Let's go.
I started to pick up on it, but to the left and back, and you repeated, I think, twice, was like the, yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yes, okay.
For those who don't, go check your history book.
Yes, go look up Texas, 1960. No, don't do that.
Too soon.
Oh my goodness. Well, so the dwarf leaves your the front door there, leaves your office, leaves your workshop. There's the word. And I don't know what Tinkus would feel about this, but there is an unusual vacuum effect when he leaves. I don't know what it is about it, almost like the weight kind of gets lighter when he's gone, about the room itself.
Does it feel a light effect, or does it feel a gravity effect?
It would best be described as a gravity effect. You can literally feel weight in the room when he is present.
Okay. Literally, there'd probably, as soon as he leaves, there'd be a moment of the, like, feeling of the adjustment of gravity and shoulders, and then going back to the table.
You can still kind of see through the display door that this dwarven investigator is going over to the elves. He, again, knocks on the door, and you can just see from the distance where you're at, he's just standing there waiting for someone to answer it, like he's got all day. And as the door opens up, there's a brief moment where he looks over his shoulder with that curled leather duster. All you can see is just his steely green eyes looking at you, and he walks in.
I wave.
And then you can barely hear in the background, like, this muffled voice going, "Hey, how you doing? Sorry to kick your door down." So he's over there for the moment. I guess the question is, what is going through Tinkus' mind after that interaction?
Curiosity. A lot of uncertainty of what just happened. Ideas, but not certainty. And kind of running scenarios and processing data, essentially. To the point where the toy that he's working on, he realizes that he has now stripped a screw because he was screwing a screw too many times. And then just, replace screw. Clean up the shavings. Back to it. But there's a lot of data processing that's going on.
Okay. So as the data processes, there is a point where you can see the dwarf gentleman does leave the town, or at least leaves 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲. That night kind of falls upon you suddenly, almost like blink and all of a sudden it's dark outside moment. What is Tinkus's nighttime routine like being a warforged?
There's notes that he will go over. There is the finances, of course, for the thing. There's it will be probably a trip to the tavern at some point in the evening to look at the job board and see if there's anything that might, again, help with finances, as the toys, unfortunately, do not pay the way. The rent of the building is not, there is more than is made in the profit of the store, so the love of the career is unfortunately beholden to the work that he must find.
Okay. The tavern is fun as always. The work board seems to be uncharacteristically barren. Just usually small bits, help me move this couch, help me go fishing, I can't quite bring in all my catches. Basically, everyday kind of stuff. Adventurers don't really make it out here as a rule. Everyone in the tavern, give me your choice, insight or perception.
I'm gonna go perception.
Okay.
I believe I have a better score in that. Nope, same. Talk die. That's a nat 20. 22.
Nat 20. You pick up on a sense of distance everyone's giving you now. Everyone's looking at you with concern and a general ill content, and they're all giving you a wide berth. The people working behind the counter of this tavern are polite enough to give you a drink, but they're not making conversation. There's definitely an aura of back away from Tinkus happening all of a sudden.
Have I seen the elf, my friend?
The elf is not in the tavern.
All right. I will, the drink has been poured for me. I thank them for that. I pretend to drink. As a customary, thank you.
As humans do.
And I set the drink back down, and I, kind of noting that vibe, turn toward the door. Start heading out.
Okay. When you leave, where do you go?
I'm gonna go for a walk. Again, a lot of the processing, a lot of the, taking in the outside. I know all of what I can see inside my shop if I want more information. Johnny 5 input. I'm gonna go wander and see what I see that I haven't seen before.
Okay.
Also looking for things strange, also looking for any feeling of that gravity. Was that gravity something that just happened in my shop? Was it related to the gentleman who entered? Is there gravity wells forming in our town? Kind of like all of that process is being mathed out.
Absolutely. So as you walk around, you do happen to see two things happening that are kind of getting your input. You're starting to get a little out of the normal strip of the town that you drag on, but now you're breaking out of there, and two things kind of grab your attention. The gravity gets heavier again, and there's a person standing in front of you, a taller person. As this happens, you can note from your input that a localized temperature spike has occurred somewhere on the main drag. That's the obvious data. What does this mean for you in your mind? What do you think this is trying to tell you? What do you think the data is trying to paint?
By the main drag, do you mean where that person is standing, or do you mean like back in town?
Back in town.
Back in town, there's been a temperature spike?
Mm-hmm.
I would literally, that's a torn moment, because my initial instinct is to go check out the temperature change, because that usually would be a sign of a fire or something along those lines, or even a spell. But the one in front of me, does it seem to be looking at me?
Mm-hmm. Taller than the stout folk from earlier.
Similar hat?
Yep.
I'm gonna try and kind of kill two birds with one stone. I think there's something in town that needs our attention. And I turn, like, motion for him to join me and start clunk, 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 clunk toward town.
I love that. Please give me a persuasion check. I would yes and this, but this could go so many directions right now. Oh my god.
It's general roll. That's, is that 18? 18.
Okay. So you say, like, there's a fire, we gotta go.
No, there's something. I don't know what it is. There's something that needs our attention. Please, come with me.
So this hand grabs the hat and just starts chasing after you. Quick insight check.
Sure. It's gonna be a 10.
He's chasing you. He's following you. He's chasing you. He's following you. He's chasing after you or following you. You're not sure, but wherever you go, he follows.
Here's the trick. I am making no motions to try and lose him.
Okay.
So there's no dodging behind anything. There's a couple of times of literally looking back to make sure I haven't lost him.
Understood. So with that genuine intent of having him follow you, you're running around, you get back to the main drag of the city, that big strip where the whole city's basically built upon, well, a town I should say, and as you run, you see, sure enough, there is a roaring fire. Take a guess where the fire is.
My store.
Yep. And there's another body standing by the fire. Tall body, not stout folk. And they're staring at the blaze.
Are they also similar hat?
No, sir.
So, I'm going to essentially start processing how much my building burning is endangering other buildings first.
Good idea. I trust you, whatever check you think explains that thought process. Go right ahead and roll it.
Sure. Let's go investigation on that.
Okay.
It's a 21.
21. Thankfully, there is enough space in between. These aren't quite townhomes, they're not stuck together.
Okay.
There's enough distance that the fire will only consume all of the wood and varnish and other materials.
Everything that is my materials for my store.
But it won't spread, it'll be isolated. Unless a horrific breeze kicks up, this will be yours only.
Is this, from the investigation moment I'm having, there's a couple of things that it's the step process. I'm gonna give you the step process.
Mm-hmm.
First, are any other buildings in danger? Second, is anything from my building salvageable, or is it so engulfed in flame that it's just you let the burn happen? And then third is, does this seem like it was somehow done in a way to be a controlled burn? In other words, a burn of this status would normally have also affected a building, but this looks like it was designed to only burn my store.
Right, so the first question, salvageable. As always with a fire, it is a matter of time, and of course...
But then where are we in that time?
Yeah, sure. This was done, like I said, the minute you got the temperature spike. This was maybe done within the span of 5 to 10 minutes.
So still somewhat possibly salvageable.
Still somewhat possibly salvageable. So it's a matter of time. You have, I'm gonna say, about an hour is where things happen in the fire, where it's not salvageable, it's just damage control for that 1 hour. So you're within that time span. I'm gonna say if you wanna go in and salvage something, you have a limited window, about 20, 30 minutes, say 2 checks if you want.
Is this put outable?
It's gonna take a lot more than just you, the creepy guy with the hat, and the elven toy maker watching it burn.
The elven toy maker.
Watching it burn.
Now, so the gentleman I talked to with the math was not a toy maker. It's not him, right? This is another, or is it the guy who helped me with math? Watching it burn.
Hold on, when you say helping with the math, you mean the one that you asked you
the boat that I talked to about the math for the boat? He was not a toy maker, he was a guy who knew math.
Got it, yeah.
I didn't want to describe him as a rival.
Totally fair. It is that individual, the one that you...
He's watching it burn.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. The math elf person is watching it burn.
Okay. I will run over, and to him I will say, if you are not feeling up to helping, please keep yourself at safe distance, and I will go in the door.
Okay. He looks and nods, tears in his eyes, as he just kind of walks away numbly but he lets you handle it. No one in town is coming to help you. You do note a few parents with a child clutching a wooden dragon in both arms as they watch you run into your burning building. And the gravity of the tall man in the hat is like the wrong kind of weighted blanket. So you're dashing in to get what you can?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to get?
I'm going to start off with the finances, the anything I have from the business aspect of it that might be transferable. Starting with any of the toys that were done and like seem to be heavily invested. Kind of, I'm sure I have a mental catalog of the most expensive things, like grabbing those and putting them in bags to take that outside, set outside, go back inside. Next, I'm going for any type of gear for me to live, because clearly I can't live here while this is going on. Putting that in, going back outside. How many trips might I get?
I'm gonna say 2 skill checks for the whole thing. I think I said earlier. So what I want to do is to see how effective this is.
Sure.
Let's make the first one acrobatics.
Acrobatics? Not my best trait, but let's see what we got. It's a 6.
6. It takes a lot longer than you'd expect on that first trip, and you're gonna have to sacrifice. In the process, you will not get all the valuables you need and all the living materials you need. But that's your first trip. You come out with enough. And again, this tall, dark figure stares at you, and it's almost like you leave the fire into that fresh night air and under 300 pounds of weight, and he's not helping. He's not lifting a finger. The whole town is now watching in fear, and he looks to you, points back to your burning place. Next check. What do you think explains how Tinkus is going to salvage what's left of this trip into the shop?
So you pick my skill?
Yeah, let me know what you think within a good reason to what you're going to be doing to get the last out.
I'll go with athletics. I mean, it's the same score, but it makes sense. None of the ones that I have high points in make sense in this particular task. So another +2, and that's a nat 1.
Okay.
I'm guessing I don't get back in.
You do get back in.
No.
The door is not attached at this point. The fire is roaring. It's made it to and through the roof, which means now everything is a fireball at this point. I need a dex saving throw.
Okay. It's a 15.
You're getting the last of everything. Hands all in. Do you have like a storage compartment in your torso?
I have some storage compartments, yes.
You are able to fill up the storage compartment, and the last thing that you see is somehow untouched, that articulated kraken. And as your hands goes to grab it, whether it's sentimental or tactical, you go to grab it, you hear the creak and scream of burning wood as it splits and the roof collapses. With the number you rolled, you do not escape this collapse. Give me a survival check.
All right.
Or a deception check. Choice is yours. But how you decide between those two will determine the narrative flow from this point.
I'm gonna go survival.
Okay. Okay.
That is a 12.
Okay. Everything that anyone tells you to do on how to survive a fire and a collapse, it's like Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until you get that first hit in the head, and that plan goes out the window. Panic set saying, but the panic isn't responded to. Your hand gets cold, not from the fire, but because the morning dew has come and the fire has snuffed out. Eventually, you are able to pull the rubble off of you, eventually. And when you do, the gravity is still there. The only person in town who greets you as surviving a fire is that man in the dark. For a split second, you see a feature as a long match lights a cigar, and a puff of smoke gives view to a reptilian eye and a draconic snout. and slowly walks away. The town is quiet, dead quiet. The burning and smoke have filled the air, mixing with the morning dew. Everything's a shade of gray. What's a toy maker to do? What do you do?
I'll pack up. Is the bag that I did take outside still there?
Almost mockingly so, yes.
Okay. I get my bag, I put the other stuff, whatever the gear I had for travel, and I will pen a note and leave it on whatever stands of the doorway that essentially says, "I'm not sure what made you all turn against me. I'm not sure what fire was put to beset against me. I will take this as note that I'm not welcome. I bid you all well. May you have the days you deserve. Tinkus."
And thus begins a long journey. Walking for a Warforged is easier than thinking, but it's always harder when the walking circumstances are these. And somewhere in the long journey eastward, because westward leads to the underground, you hear a small voice. You don't know if it's a memory, you don't know if it's a mockery, a mummery, no clue. But a little voice somehow still rings in that wonderfully beautiful metallic head of yours. Little voice. "I hope to see you again sometime." And as everything fades, the sound, the voice, the walking, the numbness from the walking, it fades because now there's a hustle and a bustle, a loud, breathing, rhythmic life of feet, thousands of feet running, moving, pushing, laughing, working, so much work. And you find yourself in a city. And standing on a massive stone monument, you see a very powerfully built man made of stone. You would know from underground that they refer to these as Earth Genasi. Some call them Oread or the Orfolk. And this big, strong man, bald head, looks to you and says, "Hey, you there. We have need for people like you. Do you need money? Do you need a purpose? Do you need a home? Do you need adventure? Because if so, the Relic Runners needs you. Now fall in line, we could use a guy your size."
Very well. In line.
Whew. That is where we're going to end the tale of Tinkus, but what more is in store for Tinkus in Season 2? We're going to find out. Tune in.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm curious. Tune in to find out alongside with us. Please make sure to follow on YouTube, click the bell, and as always, turn on the channel notifications to get updates on Twitch. We'll see you for the rest of the adventure then.
Bye, maybe.